Say congratulations, Eric and Jenny.
Look at, see yourself? That's Juliana.
I want to thank each of you for being here tonight. I know some of you have come a long way. I believe by my count that we have folks here from 8 states. We have folks from Louisiana, cousins from Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. On behalf of myself and Rochelle, I want to welcome you tonight. And we're delighted to have this dinner. It was such great conversation, I hated to stop it. All the good planning, that's what I say, kid. Now you prompted her, I know you prompted her. I want to say to Jenny and Eric, if I could spot them. Oh, there they are. There they are. How can I miss them? Mazel tov and congratulations.
I went to Michael's and they had these bells on sale. I said, yes.
The RSVP said, I will be here with bells on. I will be here without bells on. I cannot attend with bells on. I cannot attend without bells on. I forget the bells. And I checked, I will be here with bells on.
We said with bells on.
We are here with bells on. All right.
Hi. We're on camera.
Hey. Congratulations. I'm glad you guys are here. Oh, yeah.
That's Alan. That's Fred. With a PH, of course. You see that picture there?
Same picture. That's Frank Bourne.
That's Frank Bourne.
Frank Bourne. Same picture.
It's from like the 20s, isn't it?
This is in 1971. In 1989, his son met his son and became friends. 17 years later. It's wrong to give children beer when they won't accept it.
Good. Good, Eric? I'm looking forward to doing news. We can go
Seriously though, we want to thank you all for coming and being a part of our wedding here. When we first started kicking around the idea of doing a cruise ship wedding, we talked to our immediate family and we talked to the wedding party. We said, is there anybody that this is going to rule out if we do this? And they all said, no, we're on board with it. So we started planning it. We didn't know if anybody other than the bridal party and our parents would be there. And then we said if there's 20 people that show up, that's a huge success. When we were going over the list, we have 50 people that are coming on this cruise. And we just want to be clear that right after the ceremony, the duration of the cruise until Thursday morning is considered our reception.
Be prepared to have lots of fun.
One of my groomsmen is unable to be here. We lost him several years ago. But he was irreplaceable. So when we were planning this, I couldn't even think of replacing him as one of my groomsmen. So now, if you notice it's a little lopsided tomorrow, it's because there's one more bridesmaid than there is a groomsman. I met their son David in 1988 when we started junior high. And years later when we were finishing up high school, Frank realized that we were young adults and we were able to hear more adult stories of what had gone on in his life. And when he was in college, long before Facebook, you know, there were certain things that sometimes you do when you started dating someone new and you didn't know if it was going to work. Like You didn't want them to know your home phone number, your address, your real name. So Frank came up with a pseudonym of Fred Zubrown. Fred spelled with a PH, of course, you know. And and Fred was a pretty smart guy. So while Frank was an undergrad, Fred was a graduate student. And Frank actually had a friend on the UGA yearbook committee. And so he said, Fred has been around this campus so much, he needs to be represented in the yearbook. So he got his picture put in the graduate student yearbook as Fred Zubrown. And sometime in the mid-90s, he was telling David this story and broke out the annual that had the picture and said, here's my picture as Frank Bourne, undergrad, flipped a few pages and said, here it is as Fred Zubrown, graduate student. And David looks down and looks up with amazement on his face and says, that's Eric Ziglin's father pictured next to you. Because my father was actually a graduate student, so Fred Zubrown ended up next to Alan Ziglin in the yearbook. And then, if anyone wants to see, we have actual pictures. So this was one of those friendships that was always destined to be. And you know, we've stayed in touch with them because they, like I said, they view us as family and we do them. So I'm glad that you guys are here, and I want you to know that we remember David too. So here's his groomsman gift. Thanks, don't look at
I was told I had to stay very close to Eric because he has the microphone, so I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I want to recognize one of my great friends who agreed to do this when I honestly didn't know that she would. I have been friends with Lindsay since freshman year in high school, I think. I think we knew a little bit about each other before then from your St. Peter's days, but I mean, it's been a friendship of many more years than what I can think of off the top of my head. And I really, really appreciate you being here, and I thank you, and I love you so much, and I'm so excited to get to spend these next few days with you.
Oh, it's me again? Baby, I gave you time to think. We're not just winging this tonight. We totally knew what we were going to say before that. So, my next groomsman that I need to recognize here is a friend of mine from college. And we met because he lived 3 doors down and across the hall freshman year. And we've known each other for a long time now. And while years have passed by here, we will sometimes go years without talking, months or years, and then just one of us picks up the phone and it's like nothing has changed. Maybe it's because we're the same kids we were at 18, just a little grayer. But when my grandmother moved to South Florida and I needed someone to help load up her house and drive to South Florida with me.
No need about changing car seats while driving down the road or anything.
We may or may not have changed drivers in the truck while we were driving. But don't worry, Mom, it was safe because it was like 3 a.m, so no one else was on the road.
And there was a lot of space.
And that elevator is still not working in that place. That bed underneath.
And when I was finishing college, Sean was just starting a family. He was newly married and had a new baby at home. And I was just calling him because we started college together to let him know, hey, I finally did it. And I said, hey, can you get to the men's warehouse and get measured this week? Next thing I know, I'm picking up his tux in Fort Lauderdale. So I'm really glad that you were able to come, and I'm really glad that we're gonna get to hang out for the next few days. Jenny may not be happy about that, but
I'm just excited to hear lots of stories. Lots.
you may not be allowed to speak to Jenny for a while. But just a little thank you for being a friend.
No problem.
Yeah, man.
Dana is actually a new friend of mine since I have been with Eric. She is married to one of his best friends, and I am so thankful to have her in my life and to be one of the greatest people I've ever had the opportunity of meeting. And I will embarrass her really quick and myself at the same time. I am so happy to be the milk to your fun bag.
Oh my God!
That just happened. And it's not dirty. What I said is not dirty, it's just an inside joke.
They're working on a buddy cop drama new this fall, Milk and Fun Bag.
Fighting crime together in the mean streets of Fort Lauderdale?
I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
Definitely.
Please repeat what you just said, because the what?
I am the milk to her fun bags.
Even when you
And it is not dirty. It
We're too old.
is hysterical.
No, it's not.
Not at all.
No. Love you too, sweetheart. Wow, thank you.
And as long as we're talking Weinbergers here, we got to talk to Mr. Weinberger. No, not that one. The younger Mr. Weinberger. Hey, Roy, how you doing? So, Blake and I have known each other for about 10 years now. And in that time, we've had many interesting things happen. We have been there through good choices in who each other dates, and those choices that give us a chance to make fun of each other. But through it all, he's just always been there. And you know, like when he got married, I lived out the best metaphor for our friendship. Because when I went to his wedding, I was living in New Orleans, and he was getting married just outside of Atlanta. So of course I was gonna go. So I loaded up on my motorcycle to make the 500-mile drive.
Thank you.
Just before I'm getting ready to leave, oh, it gets better. Just before I start to leave, a hurricane starts coming in the Gulf. So I end up riding my motorcycle through a hurricane to get to his wedding.
Safety first.
The best way I had to get my Friday night clothes to his rehearsal dinner on the motorcycle was not to fold them and put them in the duffel bag, but to wear them. So by the time I got to the wedding, they were not exactly in what one might call pristine condition anymore. So his wife, who puts up with all of our shenanigans, that's one we can say on TV, was gracious enough to say, "You're not wearing those pants to my rehearsal dinner." Said, "They're all I got." She said, "Give them to me." So she starts ironing my pants. I'm sitting in this nice little bed and breakfast, so they have a little Keurig there, and I make a little Earl Grey tea. And I'm sitting there drinking my Earl Grey tea, messing around on Facebook. And I post on Facebook that I'm enjoying my Earl Grey tea while the bride-to-be is ironing my pants. Which sounds innocent enough, except to the girl who I had been talking to on Facebook for about a week, who's going, "I thought he said he was single." why is there a bride-to-be ironing his pants? But it all came out in the wash. We were all good. My pants looked awesome. We made the wedding. But that just really was a metaphor of how we've always been there for each other, and just, either one of us would ride through a hurricane for each other to get there when it counts. So I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate that our wives put up with this and still allow us to hang out. It might or might not be like two 12-year-olds hanging out together when we hang out together.
We've matured.
Right. We used to be 10.
That's right.
Ethan, he can still pull off 10. So I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for being there.
Kylie is my niece, and I am amazed at the young woman that she has become. She is talented and beautiful and amazing, and I am so extremely blessed to be your aunt. And I'm so thankful that you are going to be one of my bridesmaids. And I really need you to stop growing because you can't be taller. Okay? I'll try. Okay, great. Oh my goodness, I love her.
Jenny's speeches are like 20 seconds.
I know, she doesn't give me any prep time at all. I'm like, back on.
To be fair,
Just wait if you don't think it's bad now.
to be fair, Eric is really the bride.
Can you at least hug longer when you do these things? So now we're through with groomsmen here. Now it's time to move on to the best man. Who, by the way, when we went to go look at Tux's today, had trouble figuring out why his was labeled BM on the chest and thought it was rather insulting.
I still don't have an answer to that.
So, this is my brother, for those of you who don't know.
This is my brother.
Funny how that works.
It works out well.
Nice. And, as much as I've had friends throughout the years that have been like brothers to me,
They're brothers.
there is only one who has actually been my brother. There were times in college when he thought he was my mother, but he's always been my brother.
Wait, you survived college, didn't you?
He's always tried to look out for me, even when it wasn't appreciated or necessary. But he always had the best interests at heart, and I always knew that. And so, when I got engaged, there was no doubt who I was going to ask to be my best man. Well, he had doubts about who I was going to ask to be my best man. I knew who I was going to ask. So, and he's been there, and just all week I keep getting these calls. Hey, what else do I need to be doing? What else do I need to do? What do I need to pick up? Thank you for being my brother, which you didn't have a choice in. Thank you for being a brother to me, and thank you for being my best man, which you did have a choice in.
I love you, man.
Superman.
And the impossible Volkswagen puzzle. Volkswagen cufflinks. Very nice. Second set of Volkswagen couplings.
I didn't know if the other one beat you both.
I do want to know, where are the patent leather flip-flops? I've been looking for weeks.
Okay, my maid of honor, Amanda. Amanda and I quickly became best friends in high school when she moved from Baton Rouge to Covington, and I pounced on her. Literally.
I had to do this.
In my yes. We spent high school days going shrimp fishing in the ditches of Covington High.
Yes.
And jumping up and down in celebration of pep rallies and sometimes falling.
Thank you.
And we have been through college together. We have been just inseparable. There have been times when we have hated each other, but have always come back to each other. And we have, I'm gonna cry now. We have seen each other through good times and bad times. The time when she had her baby and then she almost died and came back to us. And she's just been the best friend I've ever had in my life. And I love her so much. Look at that, I get a long one. Me, that's me. Thank you. Woo.
I think it had a note on it.
I want to thank my family who came in all the way from Louisiana.
For the record, drove in from Louisiana. I think they have the record as the longest commute here.
So they are my rock. They are the reason that I'm here, and I love every one of them more than I can possibly tell them. And I'm so happy that my brother and his family are going to come on the cruise, and we get to spend a week together, because it's not the same since moving to Texas, and I don't get to see them every day. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving us a beautiful wedding. And so, thank you.
And that brings us to the host of the evening. Kayla, we would like to thank you. Oh, sorry, one chair short. Mom and Dad, we want to thank you for putting on this whole soiree tonight. When Jenny and I were planning the wedding, and Mom said, "You're gonna have all these people come in. We need to feed them the night before." We kind of had our plates full, so it fell on Mom to put the whole thing together. Which reminds me, we want to make sure that everyone that's eating fish has a fish. Yeah. We just wanted to thank you guys for everything you've done, not only with the dinner tonight, but throughout this whole relationship that we've had. Mom and Dad met Jenny pretty quick. Even when we first started dating, I had a trip planned to Atlanta a couple weeks after that for my brother's housewarming. So Mom and Dad got to meet Jenny about 2 weeks after I did, which is good because we went ahead and got that out of the way. And they just immediately were fans of her.
I'm good people.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So I just want to thank Mom and Dad for everything that you've done for us, and thank you for dinner tonight. If we get to sit and eat, it looks delicious. We hear the salads were good. Maybe we'll be done by entrees. And I guess lastly,
Well, before Eric ends, I actually have a surprise for him.
Here it starts.
It is not patent leather flip-flops.
Is that chicken?
It is not. There's not going to be very much time for me to give this to you tomorrow. And I wanted him to be able to anxiously be excited about this all night long for tomorrow to get through the wedding and then see how he's going to get to celebrate.
They're children presents.
With his best friend. Part 1.
Should I open it now?
Yes, you can.
Do we need to save the paper?
No, we don't need to say the thing.
Yeah. Superman!
Eric has been so excited about this bro mitzvah, not a wedding. When we first talked about this, he was so excited to be able to build a fort with his best friend. And I have been so anti-fort, and I am not allowing this to happen in my stateroom. So I will give you the best gift of all. I will give you the gift of building a fort in our stateroom.
Can we call it a bro mitzvah?
No. It's still a wedding, not a bro mitzvah.
I would just take the fort and say thank you.
Listen to Cousin Elaine.
That is nice. That's a great prize.
I can't believe it. Part 1. Part 1. Part 2.
So even before I was given sheets to build a fort at the bro mitzvah, I mean wedding, wedding, honey. I knew that I had the best bride. She has been so good with putting up with all of my craziness and never questioning it. She just accepts it as that's me. But it's funny that she gave me sheets to build a fort with Blake, because Blake was actually the first person to know that this was going to last. Because I talked to him just before our first date, and I said, yeah, there's this chick I'm talking to, we're gonna go out, you know, whatever. And from that, he knew that this was something. Because apparently, in the time I've known him, he's never heard me refer to someone I was getting ready to go out with as this chick. He's used to hearing the term, I'm getting ready to go out with my future ex and have dinner. So he was able to pick it out well before we knew that it was going to be this. So, but I love you and I'm happy that we're doing this.
I love you too. I love you even though you're crazy. I love you even though you drive me nuts. I love you even though sometimes I want to kill you. But you make me so happy, and we've shared so many laughs together, and I can't wait to share so many more.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Oh, you're the best.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your food. Enjoy your beverages. Don't forget to tip your waitresses and bartenders. Joking.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Once you yell it, there's no going back.
Let's get married!